This is the Dallas Cowboys Report by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey, here with 6 Cowboys Training Camp overreactions. We're going to say if they are an overreaction, not an overreaction, or take the coward's way out and say it's somewhere in the middle. Our first overreaction, making a change at kicker is needed. Not an overreaction. I know we're into the first preseason game, and I know the wind in Oxnard can be tricky, etc., blah, blah, blah. The results have been bad. The kickers have not been good. Jonathan Garibay, who I was excited about as much as I can be excited about a kicker coming into camp, 55%. It's bad. That's not going to work. That is unacceptable. Lirim Hajrullahu has been better, 84.7%, but his leg isn't what you want, and Bones Fossil wanted Garibay to be the guy. If you want to wait until joint practices, preseason game 1 to make a change, sure, I guess I can get that. But this is not a we just going to have patience situation. Could Garibay get it turned around? Absolutely. Do I want to wager my entire kicker spot on that right now? Not really. Kicker is a high-pressure job. A lot of it is mental. And I think there are some mental issues right now. That explains all the misses coming up short on an extra point. What are we doing out there? Now, if you want a new kicker, like I do, show it by sharing this video right now, and I can show to Jerry and Steven, hey, see, the people want this. Share the video if you want a new kicker. You might be able to tell this one's an overreaction. Trevon Diggs is a bum and he sucks. Yeah, overreaction from that standpoint. I think we have gone, well, in general, it's not so much Cowboys fans, more so others who, they just don't like Trevon Diggs. He got beat a couple times in one-on-ones, CeeDee Lamb, Simi Fehoko, then deletes his Twitter account, Eagles fans, Giants fans, Commanders fans, people who didn't like Diggs in the draft are like, see, he sucks, he's a bum, ignore the interceptions. He's actually been pretty damn good so far at camp, and I think it's actually probably a good thing to delete Twitter. He called it toxic. It's pretty true sometimes. The Trevon Diggs hate to me is interesting because I don't remember this level of anger, dislike compared to Xavier Howard in his awesome year in 2020. Almost identical targets, completion percentage slightly in favor of Howard, the yards in favor of Howard by under 200, but more interceptions and more pass breakups for Diggs. And although Diggs got to be better as a tackler, he missed too many tackles for my liking. Remember that several of those yards were because DeMonte Casey made bad plays. That goes to Diggs. It's his man. Yes, Diggs allows yards. And yes, I think the interceptions are going to regress this year along with the yards. But I think if you ignore the helmet and just give people the numbers, they would be very excited to have Diggs on this team, despite some fake stats that get thrown around, both for Diggs and against Diggs. Whatever the numbers you see on Twitter are often not right at all. So let me know in the comments, do you consider Trevon Diggs a great corner? Jalen Ramsey does. Do you? Y for yes, N for no. This is our pinned comment, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Y for yes, N for no. Let's talk Tyler Smith here. Is he the best left guard on this team? Not an overreaction. It's not saying much either. Don't go too far in the other direction, but yeah, he is the best left guard on this team. I will make note that Monday, not his best day. Reminder that he is a rookie after all, but he has outplayed Connor McGovern. The power is real. If you didn't like Connor Williams because he just wasn't a very strong player overall, you won't have those concerns with Tyler Smith. That is a much more physically imposing human being. Are there technique issues that still got to be sorted out? Yeah. Is it a bit of a work in progress? Yes. I would say be patient with Tyler Smith. Do not jump to say he is instantly better than all the great players overall that have come through these nights. He's not necessarily the next, I'm going to go Larry Allen, or even the next Ronald Leary, who was so good for the Cowboys as UDFA. But I think he can be good. He is a rookie. Patience is important, but he is better than Connor McGovern. I think that is pretty much where we're at already. He should be your starter at left guard. I would rather have that be the case than McGovern. We've seen McGovern. He's not your left guard. Smith is not perfect. he will not be perfect. There will be ups and downs along the offensive line, but the power that's been on display and the effort, the desire to get better that Smith has shown so far is a very promising sign. Now, here's a question for you about the offensive line. Will it be better or worse this year? And I don't know which way to go, to be honest. I'm uncertain. So I want to hear from you. B for it's going to be better, or W for it's going to be worse. Now, the Cowboys Report is also on Rumble, and our Raiders, our Giants channel somehow, are crushing us. The Giants channel is, God, they're up by 2,000 almost. That's an embarrassment. They've doubled us up. That's so disappointing. Our Raiders channel's winning. Let's get that changed. Free and uncensored content plus Cowboys Report after hours, all for free on Rumble. Simply go follow us right now over at rumble.com/CowboysTV. Next up on Overreactions is the 85 Hive still live. I think this is accurate. And if you don't know what the 85 Hive, it's about Noah Brown, the number 85 for the Cowboys. And he's having an awesome camp. Ton of praise from media, from fans, coaches, players, all you name it. Noah Brown has taken a step forward. And the hope internally, I think, is that Noah Brown can be this year's Cedric Wilson, former late-round pick who takes a big-time step forward. Now, his production over his career, very middling. 39 career grabs, 425 yards, 0 touchdowns. He knows that quite well. And with the injuries and uncertainty at wide receiver, there is a very real chance that Noah Brown is wide receiver 3 come week 1. Lamb with Gallup hurt, then Tolbert, Washington hurt, and then Noah Brown. Will they use a bunch of 3 receiver sets? I'm not so sure. But Brown, I think, has taken a step forward in what I think is a pivotal potential breakout year for him for the Cowboys. Now, we will be live for Cowboys versus Broncos in every single preseason game. Despite my wife wanting me to go out of town, the answer was no. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Help me feed my family and make my wife less mad at me by subscribing so you don't miss out on our preseason watch parties this year. Cowboys versus Broncos week 1, Cowboys Chargers week 2, Cowboys Seahawks week 3. I am in trouble, producer Jeremy. That is right. So subscribe. Multiple undrafted free agents to make the roster. I don't think this is an overreaction. Now, multiple could mean 2 or more, and I think that'll be the case here for the Cowboys. Some notable UDFAs impressing so far. Marquise Bell, lock him in. He's making this team, barring a disaster or injury. He's been too impactful and too impressive to the staff. Dennis Houston is pushing hard. Peyton Hendershot, the tight end, also pushing. So more on each of these guys. Marquise Bell has stood out all camp, all preseason, all offseason, etc. He is among the team's favorite UDFAs this year. He's going to make this team. Dennis Houston, as a rookie UDFA, has earned reps with the ones. By the way, Marquise Bell did too with Jaron Kearse banged up and out at Monday's practice. Houston has not been the most impressive on the field, but he's gotten reps with the ones. Clearly, this team and staff trusts him. Meanwhile, at tight end, Dalton Schultz going to make this team. Sean McEwen, I think, will make it. Jake Ferguson, too. Peyton Hendershot with Sprinkle and Ferguson before Monday, a bit banged up. Hendershot, I think, is impressing and is fighting hard to make that spot. I think at least 2 of those guys, if not 3 or more, we'll get to in a second, make the Cowboys roster as undrafted. Overall, pretty strong class. So how many UDFAs do you think make the Cowboys roster this year? 0, 1, 2, 3, is it more? Make your predictions for me in the comments section. How many undrafted free agents make the roster? Some other names I want to mention who may or may not make it. I had thought Jonathan Garibay was going to. Bad camp so far. He is on the outside looking in. Makes me sad, so be it. Isaac Taylor-Stewart has some love within the organization. He's also been banged up a lot. So 2 things. A, practice squad candidate. B, secret IR stash like TJ Vasher last year. Malik Davis has some fans within the organization too. I think Rico Dowdle has the edge at RB3, but I think Davis is RB4 right now. Prime practice squad guy. And Story Jackson, who you guys would be very mad at me if I did not mention him as an option for this Cowboys team as a linebacker, undrafted range, but I think unlikely to make it right now. Nahshon Wright next up here. Is he working? Is he better? Is he over Kelvin Joseph? I went back and forth here. I gave it a slight overreaction. There is some truth here, but I don't want to go overboard quite yet. Nahshon Wright so far at camp has outplayed Kelvin Joseph. It is early, no games yet, but I do think Wright has outperformed Kelvin Joseph at this point, which is a credit to Wright and maybe a negative for Kelvin Joseph as well. Wright missed a lot of summer minicamp and OTAs. Pivotal year for him in year 2. He's looking better. Kelvin Joseph, meanwhile, not so much. Hasn't made many plays. I think his confidence is a bit down. Now, it's been a rough offseason for Joseph, you know? He's gone through a lot. Most of it self-inflicted, but he's gone through a lot. He's also suffering from what I call a Awuzie syndrome, where you're in position, you can't make the play. You're right there, can't find the football. Joseph has more natural talent than Nahshon Wright, but he hasn't lived up to that talent quite yet. Of all the second-year defensive players, hoping for more from Joseph soon. So pick one of these two corners to be your top backup on the outside. NW for Nahshon Wright or KJ for Kelvin Joseph. Pick one for me right now in the comments section. The Cowboys cornerback room, Diggs, Brown, Lewis, Joseph, Wright. They could go 7, by the way. They like Deron Bland, who I want to mention briefly here as an impressive youngster so far, and CJ Goodwin, a core special teamer. Wright's got the size, the other guys don't, but he's also not the same caliber of athlete than Joseph and Anthony Brown, etc. are. But overall, purely based on the meritocracy of camp, Nahshon Wright over Kelvin Joseph for now.